Alright everybody, welcome to another dev stream. My name's Kevin, and just in case you're watching this after the fact, we're working on making a game. As always, these are generally primarily and originally set up as dev streams for our Patreon members who I can't thank enough for supporting this entire adventure. So I very much appreciate it. These are open conversations. People can hop in. You'll hear other people talking, pushing me, asking questions. It's basically an open session, which is a lot of fun. Tonight we're going to be working on. We're going to be finally getting our timer up for our combat obstacle course and movement gym, and then also potentially, depending on how well the timer goes, we're also going to be implementing another hazard that actually shoots projectiles that potentially try to slow the player down as they're making their way through the combat gym. So we're going to be expanding out the combat gym probably to handle that situation as well. So with that, let's go ahead and hop in. And you will also hear me remind people when they hop in that this is being recorded, so everybody knows. Pretty sure that's a state requirement we've got to do around here. So with that, let me pop out these chats just in case anybody hops in and asks questions while we're going. And let's get going. Okay, so where's our game? Our game's over here. Actually, it's probably worth a recap of a bunch of things that I've worked on since the last time we streamed. Our level is pretty much laid out now. We've got, you'll notice here, we've got, we implemented our save game. That's what this guy right here is. And depending on whether or not you have a save game, so for example, when I start, if I have completed the save game, then I can pop through my teleporter and I can start the run. You'll also notice that the test quest on the left side is reach the objectives, and as you pick up these guys, we have we're counting through our objectives and the number that we can meet. So once we get to 16, etc. So what we want to do is kind of connect that all up. I'm trying to think about what else that we did. Oh, it's also worth mentioning we did make up some pretty significant changes to the way the save game stores data. Let me see if I can find that real quick. So that's our save load. So here's our save game. The quick call out here is basically I created a level progress struct, and the struct is actually a struct of structs. So this struct is level progress. It takes the level name and then it takes level data. And then the data is just basically string pairs. So for example, the idea is the data type would be like a checkpoint and the value might be test loaded, and then depending you can search for that. So if we take a look at let's take a look at our save point maybe. Yeah, so our save point takes in a level name and then the data. And if you look at that on the level, if we go back to the level, over here our save point is, this is for the level name is the movement obstacle course, the data type is a checkpoint, and the value is tutorial complete. And then what happens is when the character loads, it checks the save data from the game instance, checks to see if tutorial complete is there, and it will show our teleporters if that is there. That way, if people want to do multiple runs, they can skip over all this stuff and go from there. All right, so now that you're up to speed, let's hop into getting our timer working. And I have no problem cheating doing this. So what I mean by that is there is a timer in Lyra. So in the shooter core user interface, maybe under the HUD. Nope, that's not it. Shooter maps. Also not it. Shooter Explorer. It is a widget. I know it's a widget. And it docks in the check under our normal UI just to see if it's part of the baseline. Front end, HUD, textures. Okay, there's another way to find this. Let's see, is timer an option? Let's do score. I think it may have been score. That's the score. Here it is, this one. Okay, so we're basically going to be building a widget. It's pretty simple. Like, do we even need to build this widget? Can we just copy this one? Okay, so it has overlays and backgrounds. That's fine. Let's take a look what's in the graph. The graph does what? On construct, it gets the only player. We don't need any of this possession change stuff. We can wait for experience ready. That's fine. Bind event, update score, update clock. That's the countdown. Yeah, let's just steal this. Let's just take this and we're just going to make a copy of it. And we're going to put this under, just out of curiosity, where are they keeping it? They're keeping it under UI, under elimination, under the core content. Okay, so we'll just stick it under UI for us. So let's take this, copy it here. Oh, and do I have perf4 set up? I do, great. This is going to be not a score widget. This is going to be a timer widget. It's going to be our timer widget. And I'm not even going to worry about naming this the name of the obstacle course or anything like that. We're just going to call this a timer widget. We're just going to make this so that we can put this in. Oh, did that just crash? No. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got our timer, we've got our graph. Inside of our graph, we don't need team IDs. For each loop, create W score widget, elimination widget, left counters and right counters, and add them. Interesting. What is this? Oh, that's a score counter. We don't need that. I see. So they're adding it to the widget. So I think we can get rid of this. That's the team scores, team IDs. We don't need that. We do want update clock. We may use this bind clock to countdown thing. Bind event to player counted. I'm not even sure what that's going to do. We're not going to do TDM scoring. We're not doing team deathmatch. We're not doing player counted. We're not updating the score. We just need a simple countdown, y'all. We're going to try to simplify this. On possess pawn change. We don't need to worry about that. Bind event to, we don't need this. Okay, here we go. All right, so we construct, we can wait for experience ready, and then we'll figure out this bind event to countdown update and update clock. But for now, let's just disconnect it. All right, and then update score, we do not need. And we don't need, oh wait, maybe we, no, we don't, because this should create a timer by event. Update clock. This updates the clock. That's cool. We shouldn't need to do this on tick. Bind event to countdown update. Ah, and countdown update is going to happen in our game state, actually. Let me just double check and make sure that, yeah, I'm my head here. So this is going to happen in the game state, so we can get rid of this. We don't need this either. And find references. Doesn't look like we're using left or right counters. Oh, maybe we are. Designer. Here's the clock. Ah, I see. Left counters, right counters. We don't need any of those. Okay, compile. Let's save that. All right, so we have a timer widget. Pretty cool. Now we got to get it to show up on our HUD. So for our HUD, I actually don't remember how we were doing this. So we're going to have to do some digging. That's not the HUD. This is our HUD. There is an extension point up here. It kind of is a bummer that we can't zoom in any further, so let's go desired. Nope. Fill screen. I can't read that. What does that say? That says HUD slot team score. Okay. HUD slot team score. Mode status. Particle, subtitles. Extension point, but it does. I need to know what that extension point is called. Quest HUD, that's over there. Canvas, graphs. Text stats, what is this? HUD slot performance stats, interesting, okay. Indicator layer, we're not worried about that. Vertical boxes, those are fine. Horizontal boxes, that's our health bar. Reticles, subtitles, that's accolades. It's not our box. Okay. Left side. Mode status. Team score. Okay, so we're going to go with the team score. That's the one we're going to use as far as where we're going to put this. So if we go to our plugin for Xeraphine's Quest, primary assets UI, here's a UI widget. These are the directories we use for it, rules, we're not worried about that. Okay, that's the overall folder. Cool, and then let's check our, is it game? Hero data. Let's check our hero data. One of these has ability sets, input, default camera mode, tag relationships, standard HUD, here we go, test HUD, platform experience dev. So let's see where this is being used. Nowhere. Test HUD has a bunch of stuff in it. Shared input, standard components, and hero data. What's in our standard components? Nothing. Okay. Let's go back to our standard HUD. Shooter core and Xeraphine's Quest. That's not it. That doesn't have anything of what we want. Test HUD, add widgets, UI, 14 widgets, holy smokes. Okay, so this has got to be it because this is where our parlay is. Okay, so let's see here, what do we have in here? This is our elimination feed. This is all a bunch of stuff that we're eventually going to take out of here because we don't need it, but for now, accolades, performance stats, left side touch, right side touch, combat stats, equipment, quests, and parlay. All right, so we need one more. We do not have anything for our timer, so let's add one more. And what we're going to add here is our timer. So let's get in here and go timer. This is our timer input. And then the slot that we're going to bind it to, what was it called again? Extension point HUD slot team score. Extension point team score, except I don't see it listed there. Team HUD slot team score. Let's try that one. Okay, so let's save this, check that out, and let's just see, first things first, can we even get the timer to show up? I see no timer. Interesting. So let's do some digging. For our UI, we know, for example, this is being used. And if we trace this back, this is in the test HUD. And game feature data. Game feature data. Where in game feature data is this? Actions. Add widgets. Here we go. This happens in 2 places. And I remember thinking this is weird. And which one's which is always kind of confusing. We'll have to sort that out later, but for now let's just keep rolling. So let's get our timer in here. This is our timing widget, and once again we're going to put this in team HUD slot team score. I believe that's the one we want. So let's save that and check that out and see if we got a timer. Oh, look at that. Okay, sweet. Now we've got a timer. We'll make it fit the style of the game later. Who cares? We're just trying to get it done. Okay, so now we need to make it count. And where do we do the counting? There's lots of options here. You could do it in the level. You could do it on the character. You could do it in the game instance if it was local only, but for us we're going to do it in the game state. Game state survives. It is on the server. Game instance is local on the client. Why would we put it on the server? We don't need to put this on the server. The reason I'm putting it on the server is for practice, and also because maybe there's some crazy world where you're racing your friends in here. Like it's like there's 2 people and you're racing each other. So let's put it in there. So to do that, we have a state in here. This is the Z game state begin play. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to start a timer by event, I believe. Timer by event. Timer by event. Set timer by event. And the time is going to be 1 second. It's going to be looping. And we can close a bunch of this stuff down. We don't need the hero. We don't need the quest. We don't need the HUD layout. We do need the timer widget, I believe. Yeah, because we want to update that. Okay. We don't need save load anymore. We don't need the progress data. Okay, cool. And we don't need the save. Okay, so for the game state, we can create a dispatch. I think we want to create a dispatcher. And let's just double check. And the way we're going to double check is we're going to take a look at shooter core. Maybe not. Let's take a look at the elimination UI. Let's take a look at the elimination widget under the graph. They are getting the game state, component team deathmatch. And the team deathmatch component does have a dispatcher called countdown update. Okay, so it's interesting they built that as a component though. All right, well, for now, let's just see if we can get a dispatcher working. So let's add a dispatcher. This is gonna be countdown. No, this isn't even, this is gonna be counter update. Timer update, timer update, level clock update. There's a better way to, there's probably a level. Let's just go timer update, timer. I don't like timer because there are timers in Unreal. So level clock, level stopwatch, update. Sure, let's just beat it over that, fine. Okay, and then the way this works is we should just be, oh, I did not mean to close that. Game state. Okay, compile. Call. And the event is going to be, we're gonna, let's see here, add event. I may be doing this wrong. It's been a while since I've done this. Event, update, level, stop, watch. Okay, and we're gonna do this every second, looping. So do we see this? Compile and save. Do we even hit that breakpoint? Let's check out our game state. Because if we're not even hitting that breakpoint, that's not gonna work. 1 second, there we go, cool. Okay, however, we do have some problems, but let's just get our timer working right now. Okay. All right. Unfortunately, crashes are part of my reality right now. Crashes and blue screens. There's just not a new computer in my cards right now. But hopefully we recovered. Give me 1 second. We'll see how much we lost once we get going. I just got to get all the streams set up, logged back into Discord, and then we should be good to go. All right, back in Discord. Let's see. Let's get our. Oh, we need everything back. And per force 2. All right, getting things back up and running. Force. Streaming is still streaming. That's good. Let's check our mic, make sure that we actually have audio. We do. All right. Hopefully, YouTube continues to be awesome, and it kind of just cuts out those points for me, but we'll see when I go back and grab it for y'all. We're reloading now. We'll see how much we lost. %. All right, let's see what we lost. Okay, first things first, do we still have our score or our timer? Loading up. Come on. We do still have our timer at the top. Okay, so that's good. So that was not what we lost. Let's check our game state. We had just added our delegate. We still have our delegate. We still have our call. That's cool. We knew we were hitting this because we hit the breakpoint. Okay, so we're doing all right there. So then we should just be back inside of our UI. And inside of our UI, inside of our timer, which is here, we wanted to get the game state. Oh, I did it again. Continue. Okay, so in here, we need to get game state, get the game state. All right, and now that we have that, we should be able to bind. All right, so if we cast this to a Z under game state, can we bind to stop? Bind event to level stopwatch update. Okay, cool. So once the experience is ready, we're gonna do this. And we'll take this, we're gonna bind the event. Update the clock. Add an event. For some reason, it won't let me name it. Stopwatch event. Stopwatch tick update. Okay, and then we're going to update the clock. Interesting. It takes a time. I wonder why it takes a time. We're going to have to look at this. Okay, so the initial time is here. That's 0.0. But we don't have time for our delegate. So check our game state. This is the time we want. Our delegate here. Let's instance editable private copy signature. We got to figure out how to add in a variable that we can use here. So let's go back to state. Lyra state. Nope. Shooter Explorer. Shooter Maps. User interface. UI. HUD. I once again lost it. User interface. Scoreboard. HUD. Player. My mind just spaced. What was this thing called? Team score? I think it was team score. Team score. Or score. This one. Okay. So literally we've got event graph, we're binding, countdown takes an input, and we're binding the event to countdown update inside of this team deathmatch component. Inside this team deathmatch component, countdown update. Look at this, they have inputs up here. Why don't we have those inputs? Because I didn't see the plus. All right, so we're gonna go with time here. This is gonna be a float. Not an integer, a float. Compile and save. And how are they, just out of curiosity? Inside of Team Deathmatch, they have an event that they've created called Countdown. Countdown. Countdown time. Oh, interesting. I don't think we even need to do this. We just need, okay, so this is interesting. So they're doing a countdown timer and they're basically subtracting 1 every time. We don't need to do this. We don't actually need to do this because we're doing the opposite. We're counting up. So we're definitely going to say that, save that. And all we need to do is when we start this, this is a timer handle. Set members, no. I'm wondering, let's try something. Let's promote this to a variable. What I want to know is promote to variable. Okay, and then what can I do with this? Get item registry, variables, time. Oh, come on, come back. Time. Invalidate the timer. Clear and invalidate the timer. Does timer exist? Get timer elapsed time by hand. Well, that's interesting. We could get the timer, we can get timer elapsed time by handle. Whew. Interesting. Let's try something. This is going to be, I just want to know, there's a couple ways we can do this. So basically we want to start counting up. However, remember, we're not going to start counting up until we actually start the objective. Did I switch? I did. So we're not going to count up until we start the objective. So we have two options. We can either get the timer's time or we can get the game time minus the start time. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. So what I'm curious about is this is going to be our level, where am I typing? This is going to be timer level stopwatch. We're going to get this, and then we're going to get timer elapsed time by handle. I'm going to feed this in. I'm curious, is this the total time or does it constantly reset? And I'm going to call stopwatch update. Okay, so that's saved. And then inside of here, we're going to feed this straight into our updating the clock, compile and save that, and just press play. Okay. So that's not going to work. Our timer elapsed time is just 0 to 1. 0 to 1. Interestingly enough, bind event to stopwatch update. This loops, but we're not starting it over each time. Okay, so what we need to do is we're gonna have to package this whole thing up a little bit, but for now, let's promote this to a variable. That's not really the variable I wanted. That was just the lazy way of doing that. And I want to call this start time in seconds. Okay, and we're going to get the game time. Get game time in seconds, and we are going to set this to the game time in seconds whenever we first start this. Now, right now, it's not gonna quite work, but that's fine. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect, but it should give us what we need. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, rather than feeding this timer by event, what we're going to do is we're going to take the game time in seconds. We're going to subtract off the start time, and that's going to give us our total time, theoretically. There we go. Okay, it's counting, which is cool. We got a couple of issues, but hey, overall we got a counter. One, it's interesting, we've got some kind of audio cues that are kicking in here. So let's take a look at our widget timer. Evaluate sound round ending. Okay, we don't need this. Find references. Interesting. Event graph. These are functions. I just want to see where this is used real quick. Let's not do any of this. Let's just see if we can just uncomment this to get rid of the sounds. Nope, sounds are still there. So somehow, are we hitting this breakpoint? Nope, we're not. So we're not even hitting this breakpoint. So we can just delete that, compile that, and play. Clock still works. We still get sound. Okay. Oh, shoot. I was editing. Oh no, I was editing the right side. Oh, okay. This is the dynamic material. That's kind of cool, actually. Play sound time running out. Oh, interesting. I didn't know you could do this. Oh, we learn stuff all the time, y'all. So when you update the clock, let's try this. I didn't even know you could do that. Okay, sound is gone. However, I'm kind of blown away by that. Look at this. This is a... What is this? Update clock. Oh, it's a collapsed graph. Okay. I thought it was like a sub-function, but it's a collapsed graph inside of update clock. Okay. Not as crazy as I thought. So update clock. Countdown tick sound. branch is not true. This doesn't do anything. Set the text. I think we can get rid of all of this. Compile. Play. Okay, we have a timer. Now, we've got a little bit of work to do because we don't want the timer to start when the level starts. Okay, we want the timer to start when we pick up this first level piece right here. Okay, that's when the timer would start because that's going to be the start of the run. So to do that, let's go back to our game state. Our game state, rather than setting timer by event and printing string, we don't need that. We can just have the game state. We don't even need begin play. We can do add a custom event, and this is going to be event start stopwatch. Okay. All right. Now, just to test this, what we can do is we can do begin play. We can do a delay of 5 seconds. And then we should be able to call start stopwatch. And now when we play, we shouldn't see any counting on our timer. And then 5 seconds in, it should start counting up. Perfect. Okay, so we're getting close. So that gets rid of that. So we don't need to begin play, but now we need a way to trigger this. And the way that we trigger this, let's save everything first, just in case. We are using a flow graph. And our flow graph is in our quest system. And what happens is, on our first notify, we come in here and we do completed success. Okay. Is there a count that we can get? Define properties. Branch. Counter. Ah, here we go. This is what I want, I think. Counter. This counts how many times the signal entered this node. We're going to increment this. Okay. And actually, let's just do this. We're going to increment this. And then the goal oh, I see. Counts how many times. The goal is 16. 0. Counts how many times in this node. 0. If it's 0, we're going to... This is where I want to start the timer. Basically. Because the first time through, we want to start the timer. Step counts how many times. Okay, we need to test a couple of these things. We need 0 to come here, and we need step to come here. Let's see if this works. Need to check this out. Okay, so we've got 1, 2. Okay, cool. Okay, now I want to notify an actor. And the actor I want to notify is the game state, actually. So let's see here. To do this, we need to add a flow node to this flow node. Okay, and the flow node is going to be, I don't even know if we need a root flow, so let's just leave that off for right now. And this tag is going to be quest.trigger. This is going to be quest objective trigger. Let's call it state, because we have quest objective test trigger tutorial. Let's do this. Let's add state. Okay, so this has quest.state, and we're probably going to be need to be a lot more descriptive with that. And what are we going to send them as a notify? How does that even work? So we're going to notify the state quest.state, okay, on the 0 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to notify tags. Let's do quest test quest tutorial. I have not figured out the best way to think about these yet, but it's not an objective. It's a trigger. It's not a trigger. Tutorial. Let's just add a tag. Let's add a subtag here, and stopwatch started. We're gonna have to do some research in the best way to do this. So the notify tag is stopwatch started, and what we're trying to get to is, can we even trigger an event on the game state with this? So get the flow node, notify. Broadcast, assign, receive, notify. Bind event to receive, notify. Here we go. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to need this in begin play. Begin play. So we're going to bind the event to receive, notify, and the event that we're going to bind, let's call it add a custom event. And that's your, oh, here we go. This is our notify tag. Cool, cool, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to, can we just print this? Let's break this. Gameplay tag struck by reference equals stopwatch. Stopwatch started. Okay, if that's true, then what we want to do is start the stopwatch. Dude, if this works, this is going to be crazy. Start stopwatch. Okay. Compile, save. It compiles. Let's see if it starts. So right now our stopwatch is not starting. Okay. So that didn't work. Okay. A couple things. Let's see here. Do we ever hit this? This is one I want to know. Do we ever hit this? That's another good one. And then also let's put notify actor quest.state quest tutorial authority matching type. Okay. I'd like to know if we're hitting this as well. Let's just do it all. No, we're not hitting that. So interesting. This counter. Oh, I see. This comes in, it gets to notify, it increments it, it's 1. That's why. So that's not going to work. So we're never receiving our notify. And we can test this theory out by not counting. And let's just see if it works. Let's just see if it even works. Oh wait, we're going this way. Bingo. We got a custom event. So this sort of works. Oh, come on. Yeah, look at that. So our timer's starting. Okay. We are making progress. I know this seems kind of crazy, but we definitely are making progress. Okay. So, and it's just us understanding how these flow assets work. So our notify actor works, but we only want to do this once. When what I want to do is, what is a multi-gate? In, out, random. No, that's not what I want. This evaluates something. Oh, that evaluates add-ons. Okay, that's not what I want. Checkpoint, reroute, finish, counter. I think we want this counter. Let's try 1. And then let's do this. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna increment, and we are going to, if it reaches the goal, because the counter is 1, we're going to do that. And if it's skipped, we're going to do that. Let's see if that, so this should trigger it, but we may no longer get the our objectives, our second objectives and stuff. Okay, that did not trigger it. And also we did not get our objectives. Okay, we did, okay, hold up a second. I see. Okay. Interesting. This would imply that okay, let's try this again. Also, let's move that closer. So we get our first one, it didn't actually start because it's not 0. So the goal, interesting. If we go step, we're not going to do 0. This is going to notify, then we're going to go skipped. Let's also take this temporarily and move it down here. And then also temporarily move this over here, so we don't have to do as much work. All right. We got our timer started. We got our first one. But we can't pick up a second one. So we can't pick up a second one. Welcome, welcome. The usual caveats, Naroda. We are being recorded. Okay. So it's not being, so I'm stumbling through flow graphs right now,
Ah, yes.
and I don't know how to use this counter. Oh, let's go 1. The goal is, wait, I can't change this to 1? The goal has to be at least 2? What? Interesting. Why can't it be 2? That's crazy. Branch, counter. You know what? I want to get the flow nodes progress. So how do I get the flow nodes progress in here? Play level sequence, parlay, custom input, branch, start quest, complete quest objective. Branch. What are we evaluating in this branch? Evaluates add-ons that implement the flow predicate interface to determine the output pin to trigger. Goodness gracious. What does that even mean? Okay, we're gonna ask our AI friends here real quick. Let's do something. So just real quick, where we're at Naroda, we have our timer showing up. And we're just trying to connect it so that it starts when you pick up the first objective, as opposed to just starting.
Gotcha.
Okay, so... Okay, so let's do this. Going back to the flow graph for objective, for quests. How do I figure out if they have picked up the first objective, for example? Let's see what this thing says. Get objective progress. Hold on a second. But, oh, I see. Wait a second. Okay, so maybe so what they're saying is maybe we don't do this in the actual flow graph. Hold on a second. I need to read this for a second. Is there, oh, okay, I see what it's doing. Is there a way to do this in the flow graph? For example, I added a flow node to the game state, and I want to start a stopwatch when the first objective is hit. So I created a tag and it's calling the notify actor, but I can't find a way to use the counter. Counter, is it called a counter in here? Yeah, counter. To trigger the notify on the first one. Let's see, AI, what you got? Struggling. While that's thinking, we're going to go back to our game state, and what I want to look at is this thing. Get objective. Get controller time, get player controller from object. Get the bounds. I don't see any of those functions that they were talking about. Get the root flow. Interesting. Did it say I had to get the root flow? Okay, hold on a second. Let's see what we said here. Create a new blueprint actor. What? Trying to trigger something only on the first encounter within a flow graph based on the event. The on-quest object progressed delegate, which is likely what eventually triggers your tag, fires every time it's notified. Use a blueprint component as an intermediate listener. Create a listener component. Create a new blueprint actor component. Add this component to game state or whatever. Okay, great. Bind to the delegate. Begin play. Get the quest manager component from its owner. Call bind event to okay, I see. So we need to find. Wow, that's a wild way to do this. Well, fortunately, the quest manager is right here. Interesting. Okay. On quest objective progress. Quest objective. Bind event to on quest objective progressed. Interesting. So we may not even need this notify, because if the event, okay, hold on a second. And then what do they want me to do with that? In the handle, it receives a quest tag and an objective. Okay, so it receives a quest tag, so let's make this. No, let's add a, okay. Nope, that's not what I want. Create an event, add a custom event. There we go. There's our quest tag and our objective. Okay, so far so good. AI is not leading us astray. It's maybe a good night for AI. Okay, so check to see. So we need to check to see if this equals, and our quest is, what is this quest tag? This is, okay, so we don't need this counter, we don't need this branch, we don't need this notify. We are going to go with this complete still. We're going to keep that. And it is quest objective location A. So if this is location A, if that's true, interesting, and the objective equals objective tag equals. Okay, what is the objective tag? Quest, I believe it's quest start quest. Identity tag quest trigger. This starts the quest. DA test quest. DA test quest is quest test. I think that's this. Okay, so let's try this. Holy smokes. Quest test. Nope, doesn't like that. Quest.
Is it test quest? You're just looking at it, I think.
Quest test. The question is that... Oh, it is just the top level of that, that's why.
Ah.
Quest dot test. It's this one. So if both of these are true, then we're going to start our timer. Man, if we hit this breakpoint, this is going to be the miracle of miracles. And if that's true, we're going to start our stopwatch. Okay, and then I'm going to not even do this. So this custom event shouldn't even be happening. If any of those things are true, compile and save the widget. Let's save this just in case, because we've already had one. Computer total lockup tonight. All right, here we go. Okay, so it's not hitting it. So either line event to quest tag. All right, so are we hitting this? Here's what I want to know. Are we hitting this? We are hitting this. So when we come in here, what is our quest tag? Quest.test. Oh, I labeled these wrong. I got them backwards. Okay, that's all it is. Oh my gosh, we're so close. Quest test and location A. This is going to work. I'm not even going to use a breakpoint. We're going to let it ride. Here we go. Oh, I was like, where did I go? My character disappeared. Oh, look at that. Okay, now the question is, do we pick up our second objective? Oh, it resets the clock. Oh, we just need to know if our quest count is okay, hold on. We don't need this. We don't need this. Progress, we need to know if it's also equal to 1, because we only want to restart the clock if it's the first one. So this is an int. So let's just check to see if this equals 1. And we'll add this if all 3 of these are true. Okay, so we started. Nice. What time is it? It's 11:15. We're crushing it. It's great. Okay.
Nice.
That's cool. Wait, it's 11:15. Oh, all right. That took us a little longer than an hour. Okay, but the cool thing is, so we're not gonna get to doing the other hazards and stuff tonight, because I want to try to keep these dev streams where we're actually like accomplishing a task and you all get to see what these things are, just like hopefully within an hour. So at this point though, you know what we should do? I think progress. Required progress. How many times does it need? Okay, you know what? We need to do one test. Let's do one more test before we call this. And we're going to cheat this. We're going to say if this is equal to the progress is equal to the required progress, then we're going to print a string, and we're going to say level complete. And we want this to happen either way, all the time. So, like so, I believe. Okay, now we just need 16 of these. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. $14, $15. Oh, I need one more. Gotta go get it. Does this work? Okay, so do we see level complete? Oh my gosh, level complete. Okay, so we don't even have to do anything fancy in our quest. We don't even have to do anything in here. This just works. We can leave our flow graph alone, which is cool. And then what we can use is we can just use delegates in here. So we're going to have, this is going to be our event start the stopwatch. And then we're going to have an event for stopping the stopwatch. And then from that, that's when we will also update the leaderboards and we'll do all those kind of things. So that is hopefully a good kind of like overview of all the pieces that are going to go into the stopwatch. Now, there's a couple of quick things that are worth noting here. So, starting the stopwatch, stopping the stopwatch, updating leaderboards, etc. The stopwatch probably going to need to have milliseconds because right now we only have seconds, and if in a competition, yeah, I think we should probably have milliseconds. So we're going to add milliseconds, and then once we have that, so basically what we're going to be doing in our next stream is one of two things. It depends on how much progress I make this week before the next stream. Depending on where we are either going to be figuring out how to connect this all to the database so that we can have our leaderboards and building our leaderboard, or we might be building a hazard. We'll see, because I actually want to add one section of the level where there's a hazard shooting back and forth. But overall, we were able to get the flow graph working. We were able to get our counter, our stopwatch working, which is great. We just got a couple little tweaks, but hopefully that walkthrough is helpful for you all. If you happen to be doing this, if you happen to be doing something like this, it'll kind of maybe give you some direction as to some of the ways you can work through this stuff. So I'm gonna call this a wrap for this one. I'm gonna finish up the stream, close it off, and then I'll be back and hang out for a little bit. Naruto, hold tight. Oh, and as always, thanks for checking out the stream. Take it easy, everybody.